My name is Anthony Tordios, and I am the Chair of the Planning Commission. Welcome to this Planning Commission meeting. Please remember to turn off your cell phones. The parking validation machine for the garage under City Hall is located at the rear of the chambers. Following roll call during the summary of hearing procedures, we will review how the public may provide comment during today's session. At this time, if you're able, please join me in rising for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. We will now move on to roll call. Vice Chair Cantrell.
Here.
Commissioner Brosio. Commissioner Bendall.
Here.
Commissioner Bickford.
Here.
Commissioner Casey.
Here.
Commissioner Lardnois.
Here.
Commissioner Wynn.
Here.
Commissioner Oliveria. Commissioner Rosario.
Here.
Commissioner Young.
Here.
Myself here. So it's 9 in attendance, so we have quorum. All right, we will now move on to summary of hearing procedures. If you want to address the commission, please fill out a speaker card located on the table near the audiovisual technician and deposit the completed card in the basket. There are also speaker cards in the back of the chambers and at the side entrance. And I'll just note that the cards that we have this evening have a misprint that says citizens request to speak. You do not have to be a citizen to provide public comment, so please continue to fill out cards. The procedure for this hearing is as follows. After staff's presentation, applicants and/or appellants may make up to a 5-minute presentation. During the public comment period, the chair will call out names on the submitted speaker cards in the order received for those members of the public who attend in person. As your name is called, line up in front of the microphone at the front of the chamber. Generally, each speaker will be given up to 2 minutes for public testimony, and speakers using a translator will have up to 4 minutes. At the discretion of the chair, the time allotted to each speaker may be changed depending on the number of items on the agenda, number of speakers, and other factors. Speakers using a translator will have double the time allotted. After the public testimony, the applicant and/or appellant may make closing remarks for up to an additional 5 minutes. Planning commissioners may ask questions of the speakers. Response to commissioners' questions will not reduce the speaker's time allowance. The public hearing will then be closed, and the Planning Commission will take action on the item. The Planning Commission may request staff to respond to the public testimony, ask staff questions, and discuss the item. If you challenge these land use decisions in court, you may be limited to raising only those issues you or someone else raised at this public hearing or in written correspondence delivered to the city at or prior to the public hearing. The Planning Commission's action on rezonings, pre-zonings, general plan amendments, and code amendments is only advisory to the City Council. The City Council will hold public hearings on these items. Section 20.120.400 of the Municipal Code provides the procedures for legal protest to the City Council on rezonings and pre-zonings. The Planning Commission's action on conditional use permits is appealable to the City Council in accordance with Section 20.100.220 of the Municipal Code. Agendas and all staff reports for this meeting may be accessed on the city's website. All right, we'll move on to call to order and orders of the day. Before we begin, I want to remind the Planning Commission members and members of the public to follow our code of conduct at meetings. This includes commenting on the specific agenda item only and addressing the full body. Public speakers will not engage in a conversation with the commissioners or staff. All members of the Planning Commission, staff, and the public are expected to refrain from abusive language. Repeated failure to comply with the Code of Conduct, which will disturb, disrupt, or impede the orderly conduct of this meeting, may result in removal from the meeting. This meeting of the Planning Commission will now come to order. All right, we will now move on to public comment. Now is the time for public comment to the Planning Commission for non-agendized items. Please fill out a speaker's card and give it to the technician. Each member of the public may address the Commission for up to 2 minutes. The Commission cannot take any formal action without the item being noticed and placed on an agenda. In response to public comment, the Planning Commission is limited to the following options: responding to statements made or questions posed by members of the public, or requesting staff to report back on a matter at a subsequent meeting, or directing staff to place an item on a future agenda. I don't believe I have any speaker cards for non-agendized items, but if there's any members of the public who'd like to provide comment on something not on tonight's agenda, feel free to come down to the podium at this time. And if you could just state your name for the record, and then you'll have 2 minutes.
Good evening, Commissioners. I did put in a card, but it was rather late. So I'm Carl Gish. I'm a co-CEO of a residential home builder in the Bay Area. We build carbon negative homes, and we do a combination of off-site construction and on-site construction to compress the time frame from once we have a permit in hand, we can get a CO in 60 days. So we've done this successfully in neighborhoods in Willow Glen, Campbell, and outside of San Jose. The topic I want to address or put on the on some future agenda, hopefully, is the speed and efficiency of getting simple residential two-story R1 to R8 permits. It's the critical path item in our business. We're trying to replace end-of-life, really crappy old homes, frankly, with modern net zero homes and do it quickly and efficiently for the neighborhoods and the community and increase the tax base and everything else. And we're significantly impacted by the inefficiency, both on the intake process, which can take weeks for, frankly, no value add, to the issuance, where we'll have technical and all our comments completed, and we're sitting on a permit right now that was all the comments were done on the 16th. We still don't have the permit. We're ready to start construction. That's the gist of my request. And also to work with whoever in the planning and permitting department on ways to drive efficiency, whether that's using AI tools for intake or whatever else we can be helpful to do. Appreciate you guys listening. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other members of the public who'd like to speak on items not on tonight's agenda? All right, not seeing anyone move forward, so we will move on to deferrals and removals from calendar. Staff, do we have any items to defer today?
We do not.
Okay, in that case, we'll move on to the consent calendar. The only item on the consent calendar this evening is approval of our action minutes from May 28th. Motion approved. All right, we have a motion to approve from Commissioner Oliverio with a second from Commissioner Lardenois. If there's no further discussion, we will move on to a vote. Vice Chair Cantrell.
Yes.
Commissioner Brosio.
Yes.
Commissioner Bendall.
Yes.
Commissioner Bickford.
Yes.
Commissioner Casey.
Yes.
Commissioner Lardenois.
Yes.
Commissioner Wynn.
Yes.
Commissioner Oliverio.
Yes.
Commissioner Rosario.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Myself, yes. That's 11 yes, 0 no, so the motion passes. All right, that brings us to tonight's public hearing. We have one item on the agenda for tonight's public hearing, which is 8025-275, which is accepting public comment on a potential project to construct 8 7-story buildings consisting of 780 units of 100% affordable housing on a site at 7 Topgolf Drive. Before we begin, do we have any ex parte communications to disclose from anyone who spoke to the project applicant?
I spoke to the project applicant and I walked the site. It's in my district.
Thank you. I also met with the project applicant. Any other disclosures?
Yeah, I had a Zoom meeting with the applicant.
Thank you.
Chair, I did not meet with the applicant, but I would be curious if the city attorney can give an introduction on this item because it's not something we're actually voting on. Is that correct? We're just taking public hearing as part of the state law process?
Thank you.
I'm not quite sure what kind of introduction you would like, but this is an informational report that staff will walk us through. But yes, we can have discussion, but we're not going to be taking any vote or any action tonight because they haven't actually submitted an application for development yet.
That's the type of detail I'd like.
Okay.
So thank you.
I'm here all night.
Thank you. Any other disclosures? Commissioner Young?
I had a Zoom meeting with the applicant as well.
Thank you.
I had a Zoom meeting with the applicant as well.
Thank you. If there's no further disclosures, we will turn it over to staff for a presentation. Thank you.
All right. All right. Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. My name is Jason Lee. I'm the project manager for this file. And before I begin, I think I would just like to give a hearty welcome to our 2 new commissioners and a note of appreciation for our outgoing commissioner, potentially with an S. And a massive thank you for your service to the city. So this is an SB 423 early referral for the 7 Topgolf Drive 100% affordable housing project. The applicants submitted a notice of intent on May 21st to convert an existing site development permit, file number H24-018, to an SB 35 ministerial permit, and as a result, the city is required to hold this meeting on this project at Planning Commission. All right, so this project is located at 7 Topgolf Drive in Alviso. The project site is across North First Street from the Alviso Library, Alviso Community Center, and George Main Elementary School. It is located across Topgolf Drive from the existing Topgolf complex and across Bay Vista from an approved Second Harvest Food Bank Distribution Center. The project site has a general plan designation of combined industrial commercial and is in a planned development zoning, which follows the CIC zoning district. As a result, housing is not typically allowed on this site, but more on that in a bit. So as background and as to why we are here tonight, there are 2 requirements of the early referral process under SB 423. The first part was required by AB 168 of 2020, which required applicants interested in pursuing an SB 35 application to conduct tribal consultation before submitting a development application. The city does this on the applicant's behalf, and we sent notice to all tribes on a list provided by the Native American Heritage Commission on May 30th. Thus far, 3 tribes, 1 requested today, have requested consultation on this project, which will take place after this meeting in the coming days and weeks. The second portion was included in SB 23, which requires a public meeting for projects proposed in low or moderate resource areas or areas of high segregation and poverty. This site and Alviso generally is a moderate resource area under the state's 2025 Opportunity Area Maps, and therefore a public meeting before the Planning Commission is required prior to submittal of an SB 35 application. So further background as to how this project can be allowed. This project was submitted under the builder's remedy. In short, and as of January 1st, 2025, a qualifying builder's remedy project is defined under the Housing Accountability Act as a project which provides an amount of affordable housing to very low or moderate income households, submitted an application, including a preliminary application, while a jurisdiction did not have a substantially compliant housing element, is within defined minimum and maximum density provisions, and does not abut a defined heavy industrial or Title V industrial use. So in ordinary circumstances, the Housing Accountability Act allows a city to deny projects which are inconsistent with the city's general plan, land use designation, and zoning ordinance. The builder's remedy, however, makes it so that a project cannot be denied based on these inconsistencies and can only be denied if a jurisdiction can show the project will cause a specific adverse impact to the public health and safety. So essentially, the builder's remedy is a penalty that applies when a jurisdiction does not have a housing element that is in substantial compliance with housing element law. So this was redefined on January 1st, 2025 as well, to mean that the jurisdiction's housing element must be certified by the State Department of Housing and Community Development, HCD. So in short, if a jurisdiction did not have a substantially compliant housing element at a project's initial application, meaning the preliminary application in this case, it cannot use inconsistency with the general plan land use designation and zoning ordinance to deny certain housing projects with a minimum amount of affordable housing, defined in state law as 13% lower income, 10% very low income, or 7% extremely low income. As mentioned prior, this project is 100% affordable to low-income households. So for this project, the initial SB 330 preliminary application was submitted on November 30th, 2023, before HCD approved the city's housing element on January 29th, 2024. The formal application was submitted to the city on April 2nd, 2024, which is within the time limits allowed by SB 330. If this project qualifies under the definition of builder's remedy in Part H11 of the Housing Accountability Act, the HAA states that the project must then be deemed consistent, compliant, and in conformity with any applicable plans, programs, policies, ordinances, etc. for all purposes, which would include, in this case, the general plan land use designation, the zoning, and the Alviso specific plan. Should the project be deemed in conformance for all purposes, the project would therefore qualify for the SB 35 ministerial approval process. If it does not qualify under the definition of a builder's remedy project, it would have to revert back to the site development permit process, but would be considered using the definition of builder's remedy prior to it being redefined in January 2025. Putting aside the builder's remedy, as mentioned before, the project does not conform with the general plan designation because the CIC general plan land use designation, and it also does not conform with the plan development zoning because neither of those allow residential uses on this site. So with that background, this is, you get one slide and one sentence on the proposed project. The currently proposed project is the construction of 780 residential units, including 414 studios and 366 one-bedroom units and 16,238 square feet of commercial space in 8 7-story buildings on a vacant 3.24 gross acre site. So again, there are no approvals being sought at this meeting, as the meeting is required for the project proponents to submit an SB 35 ministerial permit application. Pursuant to state law, this is an opportunity for the public and the Planning Commission to comment on the development. Therefore, the recommendation is that Planning Commission accept the staff report and accept public comment under SB 423 for the proposed project. Thank you, and I believe the applicant is Curtis Wong.
Thank you, staff. We will now turn it over to the project applicant for a 5-minute presentation.
Hey, President. Okay. Hi, Commissioners. Thank you for the time this evening, and thanks as well to City staff for the process has been good so far. So appreciate the time, everyone. I am Curtis Wong with Cloud Apartments, representing this project as managing it, and we will be providing the modular components to get this delivered. We are working closely in partnership with LH Housing and Decro, and we'll get to that. But we are really proud to present this project, and I'll repeat, it represents 780 units of missing middle workforce affordable housing in San Jose. So quick recap of the group. You see LH Housing, you see Decro. Decro is a 501c3 nonprofit. Those are the developers on the site. Cloud Apartments is managing, and you can see some of the previous projects that this team has done. To go back a bit on the sites, and this is what was approved around the 2016 timeframe. You can see the Topgolf, that is the only thing that was actually built on that approval in purple, and the surrounding area. The project site there is in orange. So based on the economy, what ended up happening is only Topgolf got built and the rest of the sites are vacant. And ultimately the goal of this project is to revitalize North San Jose's Topgolf Center with this innovative mixed-use design, 100% affordable project that will help the city meet the needs of San Jose's RENA goals and build some desperately needed workforce housing. Some more views of the site. This is the way you see it. On the left, you can see the current condition of the site. And when you look at the site map there, across North 1st Street, you see the San Jose Fire Department, Alviso Park, Public Library, Boys and Girls Club, and the George Main Elementary School. So some of the folks and staff that work at those places, those community groups, are intended to be provided housing with this project. So again, 780 units of workforce housing, all at 80% AMI. The example folks that we will be looking to house here are teachers, city staff, nonprofit staff, first responders, and entry-level jobs. It's a unit mix of studios and one-bedroom apartments, around 16,200 square feet of commercial space, So for mixed use nearby that Topgolf, 261 unbundled parking stalls with 26 EV chargers and 238 bike stalls. So the bike-friendly paths off of the Guadalupe River Trail will bring you to the rest of the amenities in North San Jose. And we are exploring transportation perks that include the VTA Smart Passes, shared cars, and resident-only electric scooters and bikes. And finally, we're proud to be endorsed by some of the groups shown there who've been really supportive of this project. As far as community benefits, this project represents 10% of San Jose's annual RHNA goal. So San Jose needs 62,000 homes to be built by 2031. That is roughly 8,000 units per year. And this project alone is representing 10% of that. $3 million plus in fees will be paid to Oviso Park right across, as I showed in that site map. And on site, we will have a restaurant and grocery store. At the entrance of the Topgolf, to the Topgolf at Anderson Alley and North First Street, there will be a cafe. And ultimately, there will be over 60 trees, new trees, planted on site. Here's a site plan of what I was talking about. You can see the 8 buildings, and on the bottom right are the mixed income space adjacent to the Topgolf. On the top left is the cafe. So here's an updated aerial view of the sites, and it is built above the floodplain. In this area, there is stacked parking in those podiums and 6 stories of residential, so modular construction above it. If those aren't familiar with modular construction, it is a method that is gaining steam to build housing much faster and more affordably. And that is what Cloud Apartments will be delivering for this project. Modular is something that is being used in San Jose quite a bit, actually. Less than a mile away on North First Street, there's a 400 unit plus modular apartment market rate project called Domain. As far as the interiors, here's a rendering of what this will look like. We do strive for quality, so in-unit washer dryer, balconies, modern appliances, all the things you'd want in a home. This is my last slide. So here is the entrance to the Topgolf, a glimpse of the coffee bar. And you can see how it's built above the floodplain, and directly across the street, what not shown here, will be the elementary school, Boys and Girls Club, and other groups. So the idea is that this is a tie into the community. Parents dropping.
Thank you. At this time, we will open the floor to public comment. I'll start with the speaker cards I have here. Feel free to come down and line up behind the podium and then speak in whatever order that your name is called. First up, we have Ankit Patel, followed by Relaine Santos, Tony Santos, Dhruvan, no last name provided, and Richard Santos. So feel free to come down to the podium at this time. You'll have 2 minutes each.
It's on? Yeah. Good enough. I'm stupid. I appreciate the opportunity to appear in front of you tonight. But you know what? I spent 5.5 years on the city committee master planning this property. 5.5 years. And then tonight, you just vote. It gets 5.5 years, gets thrown away. My family has been there 140 years. We love Alviso. I remember Dutch Hammond being in our driveway saying they wanted to make another Foster City. Wars are fought over waterways, but you guys have done nothing since you took us over by a contract. You've done nothing but put the dump got bigger, sewer plant got bigger, everything you don't want, and you haven't even finished a contract that was made in 1968 between us and the city of San Jose. and you're going to have cars come out and the kids will play Dodge cars. How do you empty this in front of a school, a rural school? They already proved to us they cleaned Coyote Creek out for Microsoft. The frontage road, they just let them come to Alviso. Guess where the kids gotta walk? All through guys at 7 in the morning doing backflips, doing drugs, throwing stuff around, stealing your packages off your porch. You're gonna double our population. Nobody, seriously, this is crazy. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Just stay here. Just stay here. If I may. Is it on? Is it on? Hi, I'm Rolane Santos, Alviso resident for over 15 years. Unfortunately, this project really hits a bad taste in our mouth. It's 8 7-story buildings in a Bayside community. You're going to have traffic going in and out of 2 streets, dumping on First Street. You're going to have George Main Elementary. You have the Boys and Girls Club right across the street. The parents dropping off now it's a safety issue even now. You're going to double our population with this project. It's not a good fit with Alviso. We are a Bayside community, and you are going to increase the safety issues that we have here. It's not a fit. It just isn't. And that's really all I have to say about this. Thank you.
Yes, feel free to come down. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. I'm Richard Santos, and I served on the Alviso Master Plan. It was 24 of us. About 4 of us are alive today. The rest are gone. We gave 5 years. Vice Mayor Matthews was with us, and she doesn't approve this either. This is a disaster to the Alviso community, who's been neglected by the city of San Jose for 58 years. I work on issues in Alviso every single day to get equality. Very difficult. We passed the Top Golf for one reason. It's a big area, 38 acres. Mr. Bricardo and Napoli owned that property. Clayton Taylor was their attorney. He worked with us 5 years, wanted commercial, industrial, and that's what we did. And we kept our, now you put these buildings in, it'll be 13 feet high with the flood FEMA. You'll destroy Alviso with the environment and so on. This is a beautiful Bay Area with beautiful views. Also, the building is supposed to be in characteristic with the community. Are you kidding me? This is completely devastating. That high, you'll see it from City Hall. It's just insane. What you don't know right now at Escrow on El Dorado, they want to put another 1,000 houses in. So now you're going to have a little community of 2,000, and you're going to put 4,000. You can't hold it. You're going to destroy our environment, our infrastructure. You got to be honorable and stop this nonsense of destroying a beautiful community that was a city in 1852. Most of the Alviso community residents are of low income and deserve much more to be sold out again. They only encourage all of you to not support this in the Boulevard of Broken Dreams since 1968. This is a devastating double cross of anything. We gave our lives to that community and that master plan, and we stand behind it. Don't change it. I thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Dhruvan, Ankit Patel, Eli Robles, and Laurel Pathman.
Good evening, commissioners, committee, and the staff. Thank you for allowing us to speak. I am a resident of Alviso for 7+ years now. I have 2 very young kids, old mother with me. We walked into the Alviso thinking it's a calm, easy space to live in. Ever since I came in, what I bought into was a master plan of Alviso, which looks like never been followed. We've been misinformed since then. Park development was compromised, not as promised happening, and that's a history you should know. Data center was being built, bringing more traffic on the other side of the town. Food bank is coming in, bringing the traffic. Now this project, I think this project impacting adversely in the multiple areas, especially to the children growing up in Alviso, like mine. George Main Elementary is just across the street. This is against the previously approved master plan, so I don't know how this is being even proposed without considering what's going to happen to the previously approved master plan. That's first. Property prices will go down. We have paid heavy money and paying heavy taxes right now. Traffic will increase, children's safety and health both, because of the pollution is at stake. Environmental impact will be there, and you are trying to ignore the commission review for the environment. This looks like a joke, because what you are proposing is a 60 tree to be built against 780 concrete houses. This is joke. And whoever is approving, you should be really thinking, would you stay in this town? What are you doing to this town? This is a shame. Everybody approving it. Thank you.
Good evening, council members and community members. My name is Eli Robles with Carpenters Local 405 here in San Jose. This project offers the rare opportunity of 780 units of 100% affordable housing and over 16,000 square feet of commercial space. It could transform the lives and strengthen our community, but only if we build it right. That means upholding strong labor standards under SB 35 and SB 423. We have a responsibility not to just build fast, but build fairly. With the right contractor, this project has the power to create good family-sustaining jobs for local workers. No one should be forced to choose between affordability and accountability. We urge the city and the developer to commit to a skilled workforce, fair wages, and a responsible contractor. Let's not cut corners on the backs of working people. Let's make sure this project uplifts San Jose, not just with homes, but with dignity for those who build them. Thank you for your time.
Hi, I hope people can hear me. It's very hard to hear back here, just so you know, it's very hard to hear. I live in Alviso on Trinity Park Drive, and I walk every day. I walk my dog down North First Street, and it's a disaster. It's a disaster because you've got cars going into Topgolf, speeding and doing their spin-arounds in the intersection, which they do all over North First Street, and the amount of emissions, illegal emissions that they emit is outrageous. It's very unhealthy. I never feel healthy after I go for a walk with my dog. And bringing about 3,000 more people into the area is going to make it 1,000 times worse. And it's going to prevent people from looking out from the school. You can see the mountains. And it's bad enough for these poor children and for the seniors at the senior center that they have to put up with what they're putting up with now. And with this construction, with these buildings, it's going to be 1,000 times worse. And I think it's that the city would allow a company that's having financial difficulties to put low-income housing in Alviso, where the city has neglected so many.
Thank you. That's your time.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ankit, and I would like to just echo what my fellow community member Laurel just mentioned over here. I also live in the Trinity Park, and this project is just right like a slap on my face. It's just opposite to my house. So it's a really a big disaster. Like, it is nice open community, and I don't want to see like a concrete wall in front of me. I also have like 2 kids, and then adding up the second harvest coming in, bringing in more traffic, all these new people coming in, bringing in more traffic, like, I just don't feel safe for my kids to be growing up in the street. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speakers are Michael McWalters, Alex Shore, George Maciel, and Dorothy Lane. Feel free to come down to the podium at this time.
Good evening. My name is Michael McWalters, and I've lived in Alvisa for 29 years. And I'm horribly disgusted that you as a council and commission decided not to allow homeless women and children to live in a converted place in the Cambrian area. And yet you decided not to build the 17-story apartments located at Winchester and Prune Ridge. You have caved to wealthy people. I consider you all weak because of that thing, because of that. Also, you decided, where am I? Also, you decided not to only build 3,000 homes on the old golf course, which is 114 acres. Why not 20,000? You have decided to force 748 apartments on 3.2 acres of land in Alviso. You're basically telling us take it or leave it. I for one do not wish to have it built. Traffic in Alviso is getting worse. The homeless problem, the weeds on the street, and everything is a complete train wreck. And for you guys to do that, to build that in Alviso, and not to give those homeless people, women, the ability to live in that Cambrian part, you caved, and I don't like that. And I don't like this project either. And the other thing is, I hope you win, Mr. Tordios.
Hello, City Council. I have been a resident for over 40 years in Alviso. My husband's family's been there since 1887. I think it's appalling at what you're trying to do to a very small community. So let's deal quickly with what they said. They're building 780 units. The parking lot doesn't even match the number of the units. We don't have enough of that, so where's that going to spill out? Onto our street with the children across the street. That's very unsafe. The other thing, great that it's above flood level. Where's their water going when the water rains? Down into the people who are below sea level, and we're going to have to deal with that water. They don't have to deal with it. We have to pay for the flood insurance. We have to deal with the water that runs off of that building into our town. The other thing is how are we going to support the traffic? That is right on one of the main events to main ways to get in and out of town, meaning First Street or Lafayette, you can go down Zanker, which is, you can do it, but there's a lot of trucking and it's not safe either. So you're going to, nowhere in the plan did it show it's widening our roads of what we're existingly have, and it can hardly handle what we have now. The other thing is, I've noticed that when you have brought this growth to town, when things go wrong, no power, we're underwater, it's the city of Alviso, the residents who are living there, not what you have given us. They're all sitting high, dry, with electricity, while the rest of us are not having any of that. Another thing is, we only get postal service out there. Where are they going to get that? Why don't you try getting your mail at the postal service with the service that we get service there? That's another big thing. Or are they going to get, again, preferential treatment and be part of Alviso? But not really. They're going to get the cream of the crop, and it's all on the backs of the people who have lived there for years. So I think you ought to think about what's going on in this town and what you're trying to bring more to, and just give it to everyone else other than what's there. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Alex Shore. I'm Executive Director of Catalyze SV. Here tonight on behalf of our members who had a chance to score this project in July of 2024. To our new commissioners, Casey and Wynn, I wanted to introduce our organization a little bit. Once a month, a developer comes in and our members score that project based on criteria like affordability, transportation, vibrancy, and sustainability. This project scored a 4 out of 5 among our members, which is well above the threshold for our support. So I come here tonight to support this project. On a couple categories, it scored a 5 out of 5. One of those is affordability. Our members love to see 100% affordable housing projects, and they love to see the number of homes that this project proposes. And I think that's one of the big takeaways for all of us here tonight, which is if a developer can come in and build 700 affordable homes without any public subsidies, I'll say that again, without any support from local government, which is usually so involved in building affordable housing, that would be a tremendous model for the city of San Jose and perhaps for our entire region. And that's a model that we want to see move forward. Our members are excited about this project, bringing so many homes to the Alviso neighborhood with some ground floor activation and a site that also will have a robust, we hope, transportation demand management plan. So thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you all tonight, and good luck in your conversations to come. Thanks.
My name is George Maciel. I'm a 53-year business owner, property owner, resident of Alviso. I just have one word about this project: absurd. Absurd. I don't think any one of you would want this in front of your community. Something that is going to bring 3,000 people on an average, probably, between parents and children and whatnot. Our school is already overflowing. The community center, the traffic, it's just absurd. You have to come out. I don't think any of you have been out to Alviso, have you, to really see that the 1968 contract has never been fulfilled 100%. It's still lacking. And it's just, well, we're going to get to it. That's never happened since 1968. I spent 5 years on the task force with Margie Fernandez, working diligently to come up with a plan and drawing maps. We thought we had a plan. That property was to say commercial industrial. For how it ends up on a little 3-acre parcel stamp to get the 780 units is just absurd. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. The next speakers we have are Bo Neves, Juan Del Real, Marcos Espinoza, Jose Villa, and Mark Espinoza. Feel free to come down at the podium at this time.
Hello, everyone. First, thank you for your time today. My name is Bo Neves, and I'm a lifelong resident of San Jose. San Jose has been not only the home for me, but also my 3 children. I'm also honored to stand here with you today as the organizer for UA Local 393. We have over 3,100 members that have been building this valley for over 120 years. First, we are all excited that affordable housing is coming to San Jose, as it is much needed. However, today I'm here out of concern for my community and for the future occupants. Yes, SB 35 and other processes have provided a pathway to streamline affordable housing. That is, to provide housing that, in my opinion, is safe and also built by our local workforce. Today, I'm here to put on public record the request for the developer to engage and work with local building trades unions to build this project. Before I was the organizer for UA Local 393, I was a pipe fitter building this valley. By using union workers, the developer will be able to have the project that is safe, built on time, as well as built with skilled and trained workforce from our local community at the time when jobs are critical to our younger generations. They have a choice: the prison pipeline, or to work and contribute where they live by working on an iconic project like this. From my understanding, the developer has declined to meet with our union leaders to discuss local workforce opportunities and community partnerships. Today, I'm asking that the developer engage and provide the community they wish to build and make a profit to also build our community of people. People before profit, and that is what I'm asking for. Thank you so much for your time.
Hello. My name is Juan Del Real. I'm an Alviso resident, and I was also on the Alviso Master Plan Task Force with the Santos and George. Back then, I was the youngest one on the task force. It's been a long time. The master plan was created to manage Alviso's growth holistically, balancing land use, design, infrastructure, environmental protection, and historic preservation, while integrating the community into San Jose's long-term planning framework. This project at this scale goes against that. The master plan envisioned transforming Alviso into a thoughtfully integrated, mixed-use waterfront district while protecting its historical and ecological character, which San Jose hasn't done that at all yet. We're still waiting. New development is to respect the scale, design, historic fabric of the core area, integrating infill thoughtfully rather than through large-scale redevelopment. Right now, Alviso has around 560 homes, and this project wants to build more than double that in a compact area. And you saw the pictures they showed of the apartments. What kind of living is that? Congested, small, compact, that's not living. What quality of life is that? The building itself, it's built at 7 stories high on top of whatever flood protection they have to build on, and that's going to be a really tall building. Across the way on North First Street, the apartments that they reference are 6 stories high, and those are pretty tall, so across from a Target, so they're overwhelming. So the city has, the master plan has been pretty much decimated, because money talks, developers go in, build what they want to build. Example, on the map he showed a retail establishment that was supposed to happen. That's now a data center, so that's gone.
Thank you, that's your time.
Good evening, thank you for your time. So I've been in Alviso for 20 years now. I went to George, Maine. And I just want to tell everyone here, you have failed us, you have failed me. You still have time to not fail the future kids that live in Alviso. We really care about our environment. We don't want this development in Alviso. We don't want any more change to Alviso, especially any tall buildings coming to Alviso. There is an Alviso master plan that we wish you follow. A lot of people put their time and effort into this plan, and for you to come here, it's a slap in the face to propose such a thing. We don't want this anymore. That's it. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Marcos Espinoza, longtime Alviso resident and also the president of the nonprofit Alviso in Action. We, as a community, oppose this project. For once, it definitely goes against the master plan. Also, all the environmental impacts this will cause by not requiring the applicant to do CEQA. You basically are siphoning the community and not allowing them to be able to understand the impacts this development causes, such as flooding with the new developments that we have, such as Topgolf. Every year now, our park across the street floods about 2 feet underwater. This is a one road lane that this project is going to be exiting off of. It's already congested during traffic hours, so imagine adding 2,000 cars. That's going to definitely be a big environmental impact. Also, you have sensitive receptors right across the street. You have the elementary school, you have the Boys and Girls Club, you have the community park. Adding this many more people, I know the developer said they're going to donate $3 million. Last time I talked to the San Jose Parks Department, $3 million will get you basically a grass lawn. So definitely oppose this. We have 8-story building. We have migratory birds in Alviso. These are endangered species under California and even federal law. So by building such tall structures, they're first of its kind. This is definitely going to cause very big environmental impacts. So at the end of the day, it's up to you guys who you're going to represent, the community or big money. Many of my community members aren't able to make it here. They're low income, they're working. So we come out here to represent them, and majority of them oppose this project and are worried about the environmental impacts this will cause. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mark Espinoza, president of the organization Comunidad de Alviso. I see here that we're is inconsistent with the Alviso master plan. I mean, we got 8 stories of cement building that's going to change the character of Alviso. It's a small community. Also, we're in a flood zone. I was 9 years old when Alviso flooded in '83, and we had to evacuate ourselves. There was no police service, no fire. It was very minimal. And so now you're increasing the population by double and try to evacuate people if there's an earthquake, there's a flood, any major disaster. People are going to probably lose their lives. So I think this is a serious safety issue, and this shouldn't be approved. Also, I drove around Alviso, and we have like 15 buildable lots. The lots are 6,000 square feet. If this developer wants to be so helpful for low-income building homes, he's welcome to build out of 15. There's 15 lots that are buildable. They can go up 4 stories. So that's a lot of space, a lot of space for low-income development. Why we got to go here? It's more about money, about an investment. So finally, what I would like to say is, if it is approved, this will be our 5th legal challenge for any developer. And I would ask the developer to walk away now, save your money, save your investment. It's a bad investment for them. Thank you.
If we could please not have any outside noise from the audience, thank you. Feel free to come forward, thank you.
Hi, my name is Danielle Salceva. I've lived in Alviso my whole life. I'm 29 years old. I have to say I disagree with this whole thing, and I agree with everyone else who lives in Alviso. With Topgolf being there, it already does feel unsafe. I have a daughter who goes to George Main, and I mean, getting her to school from my home is a hassle. I don't think you guys understand even the traffic coming from Levi Stadium, trying to get out of town. We are blocked in, and it takes more than like half an hour just to get out with all that traffic, so I can only imagine the amount of traffic that this building is gonna bring in, and it's not gonna be, good traffic. Yeah, I just have to disagree. It's just such a horrible idea to put this there. I feel like put it anywhere else. I already don't feel safe walking around town anymore. I feel like I have to always have my guard up. There's been times I'm trying to cross the street and somebody going to Topgolf has almost ran me over and my daughters. I can't imagine having more people and me having to look over my shoulder constantly more than I already do. I want my town to feel safe again, and I feel like there's so much more that needs to be put into taking care of the town I live in. There's like anything. There's just so much more to take care of first before something like this comes in. Please take care of us in my community before you throw more people in and have to tackle that, Yeah, thank you for hearing me out.
Thank you. Those are all of the cards I have here, but I think we have a couple more coming from staff now. All right, next up we will have, struggling to read the name, starts with a C. Then Manuel, Salazar, and something Wang. Basically, anyone else who would like to provide public comment at this time, please feel free to come down and line up behind the podium. Thank you. Oh, and sorry. We also have a card from Mason Fong, but given that you're affiliated with the project applicant, we'll have you come back up during the closing remarks. You'll have another 5 minutes. Thank you.
Howdy. Good evening, members of the San Jose Planning Commission. My name is Manuel Salazar, and tonight I'm going to be speaking on behalf of SV at Home in support of the 7 Topgolf Drive project. So I'd like to start by kind of highlighting the project. You know, it's going to bring 780 new homes to North San Jose, all of them deed restricted for households earning 80% of the area median income. This is going to target the what's considered like workforce housing, which traditionally has been an overlooked kind of demographic. It's difficult to try and find housing for this group because, you know, government subsidies only go up to 60% AMI. So the fact that they're able to feasibly deed restrict these kind of units is actually something that's really innovative. Another thing that kind of makes this project really interesting is it's not providing or not relying on any sort of government subsidy, which for affordable housing is kind of unheard of. It's doing this by utilizing, as they already noted, kind of modular construction, which is they prefab and then they build the unit, or they bring the units on site and they construct and they put them there. It's being able to, you know, save on costs by doing just economies of scale. 780 units is rather dense, and by doing this all in one location, it's somehow, you know, able to pencil, which is wonderful to see. Also by relying on kind of state streamlining tools like SB 330 and SB 423. Combined, these choices showcase both innovation on the part of the developer and the value of policy in enabling affordable housing. The site is currently vacant and located near schools, transit, parks, and other amenities, making it well suited for new housing without the risk of, you know, displacing existing residents. It's an empty lot, it can be developed, and if they do, you know, some sort of updates to the area in order to make it safe and integrate well into the community, I think this would be a wonderful project in addition to the community. We believe this project reflects kind of innovative solutions-focused approach needed to address the region's housing crisis, and we respectfully urge council to, the Planning Commission to please support this project as it moves through the development application process. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public who would like to provide comment on this item, please feel free to come down to the podium at this time.
Hi, I'm Chirag. I'm living in Alviso from last 10 years. I'm against this project because like city has made like so many false promises, and like this entire Alviso is built on like false promises. So when I bought home like 10 years back, I also brought my friends, like come stay in Alviso, it's nearby, it's in the middle of city. Others were like against it, like other friends and family, like why you are going to live in a like garbage? I'm like, wow, why garbage? So it's like one after another, like first dumpster, then like, so when I bought the home, I reviewed that master plan, but nothing is happening according to master plan. If you look into master plan, they say like, oh, we can plant like only these many trees, these many slides, these many facilities, only because it goes against environment, it goes against like wildlife living in Alviso, all this stuff. But when they bring stuffs like Topgolf, Microsoft, Google, these low-income house, during this time, they are not considering all these environment concerns and all this stuff. Also, I'm not against any new community coming, or I'm not against low-income housing, but I'm against the lack of facilities that we have. So we don't have like enough facilities in the park. We don't have like enough emergency facilities. Roads and everything is like very congested. And also I would like to see if proper environmental study was done for this project. So again, I'm saying like everything is based on false promise. So you already had like 2,000 families living under false promise, and now you are bringing 1,000 more families. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm not used to public speaking. This is really my first time in my lifetime. So I usually keep myself busy. So I mean, this is the first time I received this public notice about the hearing. I was surprised that this project is such a big project. Not only the possible impact on us living in Alviso, and also, actually, I don't remember the exact date, about 7 or 8 years ago, there was a project on the First Street. I think that was a hotel or something. When the project started, the water pressure dropped from 100, about 30 psi to 40 psi, and even below. I had a micro sprinkler in the front lawn. The sprinkler just stopped working. The water pressure in my house was so low. It just it became like a drip. I don't really know the exact word, but the water pressure drop was dramatic. Certainly, this many units. I wonder whether we have the water resource, besides everything else has mentioned by previous speaker. So this water pressure, I will assume is probably going to, we may not, whether there was enough water supply, and the water pressure will drop even more dramatically. Thank you. That's my concern.
Thank you. That is all of the cards I have here. If there are any members of the public who haven't spoken already who would like to come and provide comment on this item, feel free to come down to the podium at this time. All right, I'm not seeing anyone else move forward, so with that, we will turn it back over to the project applicant for an additional 5 minutes of closing remarks.
Good evening, commissioners, and thank you to the community for voicing some concerns. Definitely want to address some of those. I'm a project consultant with the team. $3 million in park fees is no small fee. It's actually 20% of the Alviso Park master renovation plan of $15 million. And so as the city can tell you, if you ask questions about it, that plan is in 2 phases, and the second phase actually contains a lot of this more activated space, sports facilities renovations. And so this project will actually be key to bringing, revitalization of that park. In addition, as you know, commercial development is dead, and it's because high interest rates, the lending market has locked up, and so this project is really the key to actually fulfilling the original Topgolf area plan vision, because with this small amount of density, and it's actually a smaller amount than 3,000 people, it's actually 1,000, because most of these units are SROs, this will actually revitalize and interest those other 2 parcels you saw on that map from the slide deck that are currently also dirt lots. And so as you bring a little bit of housing here with the grocery store, which the townhomes across the street can also utilize, and an activated cafe space, the idea is that those other 2 parcels, you could probably talk to them as the city's economic development department and say, hey, what can we build here given the current economy? Other things, this state law requires prevailing wage, and so this project by nature will be produced with responsible construction. The applicant has not denied unions a meeting. The meeting request was made relatively late, and so the applicant is processing that meeting request. Just overall, San Jose has the opportunity to really bring an innovative project to the forefront of missing middle housing. And as you know, missing middle is the most underserved housing in the entire universe of housing. And so as San Jose tries to build interim housing to fulfill its low-income residents, which this project is not low-income, it is workforce housing at 80% AMI, again, teachers at George Main, city staff for Parks and Rec, firefighter recruits at the fire department, managers at the Boys and Girls Club, et cetera. This project will actually bring the pipeline and the ecosystem to San Jose, because as you graduate from interim housing, there is a gap. When you get out of interim housing and you have a full-time job, you cannot make the jump to market rate housing, especially given the federal administration's cuts in low-income benefits that is about to be passed. And so this is a crucial, vital part of that ecosystem, whereby which your interim housing plan can now graduate to a missing middle plan, and then eventually to a market rate, and then hopefully onwards to single-family home if that is what is desired. And so just, there are so many builders remedies applications in California. I don't have to tell you that this is not the most max density of a greedy developer project that is typical of a builder's remedy application. Most builder's remedy applications are not at 80% AMI. They are dominant market rate. They have no mixed use element, which this gives you 3 elements of a grocery store, a bistro, and a cafe, and don't provide this type of innovative technology of stacking manufactured housing. And so with that, the project team is here to answer questions should the commission have any, as well as the attorney with the project team is here to answer any questions about the various state laws that are being utilized to fast track this project. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we will turn it over to the commission for discussion. I want to start by just thanking everyone from the public who came out to speak today. I do want to remind folks that we will not be taking any action today. This is just a meeting to take public comment and questions from the commission, so we will not be voting to approve anything this evening. With that, happy to open the floor to discussion, starting with Commissioner Oliverio. Sorry, did you have a question?
Hello? Okay. Thank you, Chair. Hey, staff, whether it's legal or planning staff, does SB 35 and SB 423, do they respect a specific plan, a general plan, historic, whatever the things that were made at the local level? Does SB 35 say deference to the municipality, or does it say it doesn't matter? Please share.
Can I respond with a question first? SB 35 only, is that your question?
SB 35 and SB 423.
Sure. So
because we're here because of state law, right?
Of course.
So the audience needs to understand that.
Understood, but also I think it's good to give context because there's sort of 2 competing laws here. So SB 35 and 423, they would defer to a master plan if there wasn't an effect. The objective quantifiable criteria of that master plan would be the only things that we could actually enforce. As for builder's remedy, because that is sort of the second part of this, I'm going to dish it over to Jason.
So this project is first has to qualify under builder's remedy, which you do not have to respect any plan, basically. So I mentioned it in my presentation a little, but just reading the language in the Housing Accountability Act, it says any project that complies with this paragraph, meaning it qualifies for builder's remedy under the definition, shall be deemed consistent, compliant, and in conformity with an applicable plan, program, policy, ordinance, standard, requirement, redevelopment plan, and implementing instruments, or other similar provision for all purposes, and shall not be considered or treated as a non-conforming lot, use, or structure for any purpose. So the short answer is, while SB 423, we could hold them to it, if it qualifies under builder's remedy, then we have to deem it consistent, compliant, and in conformity with the general plan, even though it's not consistent, with the zoning, even though it's not consistent, with the Alviso specific plan, even though it's not consistent, etc. So it's builder's remedy that is, that allows the project to go forward, even though it isn't consistent with, the general plan, the zoning, the Alviso specific plan. It isn't. But because we have to deem it under state law, consistent, compliant, and in conformity with all of these, therefore, for all purposes, therefore, for the purpose of being consistent with the general plan, zoning, specific plan, etc., for SB 423 or SB 35, then we must, under state law, say, yeah, it is consistent, even though it is not.
Got it. So to summarize, municipalities in the state of California faced with a builder's remedy state law application do not have the historical ability to regulate land use. Is that correct?
I'll jump in here for a little bit. I don't know if it's quite that simplified.
I'm just trying to make it easy for the
Sure.
audience.
For the
Whoever's
public,
watching.
for everybody on the dais, basically in summary, the builder's remedy is a penalty, right, that comes from state law that takes away the city's ability to deny a project, disapprove a project based on the color on the map, right? So land use, general plan, land use designation, zoning code, that takes it away from us. And specifically written into this builder's remedy law, the AB 1893 that went into effect in January, it specifically calls out consistency for all purposes, for the purposes of SB 35, right? So SB 35 is a way for a project applicant or developer to have a streamlined ministerial process. And what that means is that there's no discretion from the Planning Commission, from the Director of Housing, or Planning, and from the City Council. No discretion. It is a objective, streamlined process. That means if you check all the boxes, it's approved. There's no decision from any body that's taken on this. So basically what the developer is using is this builder's remedy penalty that was implemented on the city through AB 1893 for this project. And in that law, it says that a project will be deemed consistent for all purposes, meaning that for a general plan that's, or zoning code or any other standard or any other policy, you can use this streamlined process, right? So really, we're focused on qualifying as a builder's remedy project and then qualifying under SB 35 and 423 to make sure that it can go through this ministerial process. And that ministerial process does not involve an environmental analysis, or CEQA, California Environmental Quality Act. Happy to elaborate on any of that. I know it's very confusing, but this is an informational hearing that SB 423 mandates at the Planning Commission here to take public comment, to have discussion from all of you. I hope we have a robust conversation, but it's that's where we're at.
Thank you for that clarification and adding that it's exempt from CEQA. And then my final question for staff, if there's an application like this, and they say, we're gonna put a specific retail use at the site, can the city, what's the ability to enforce that? Because if you have a commercial space that I say it's gonna be something, and what happens if it never happens? So is that just a desire? I mean, is there actual implementation obligation?
Right, so, I mean, we can't dictate who the tenant will be.
Not the brand.
Sure. Are you saying, like, what type of, say, retail space? Will it be a grocery store? Will it be a cafe?
Well, let's just take this for example, right? There's numerous applications, but this one tonight has said bistro, coffee shop, grocery store, which carries the most attention for me. Is there anything that would mandate that there eventually be a store that sells food and dairy and vegetables? And
no, if it's designated for retail, any eligible retail use could go in there. We would not dictate the business, the type of retail use. If it's retail, if it's a public eating establishment, restaurant, we don't have any control over that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have a long list of speakers here, so we will get started with Vice Chair Cantrell, followed by Commissioners Rosario, Casey, Lardnois, and Bickford.
Thanks for that. I wanted to also clarify. It also might be helpful to clarify how we got to this situation, because that's it's a penalty for a reason. It's unfortunate, but it is where we are. Can you explain how we got to this point with having to do builders remedies projects?
You want that one?
Sure, I'll take it. All right, so I think our housing element was due to HCD in, what was it, beginning of 2023? And, we had submitted to the state, and the state, sent it back and didn't approve it. So eventually it got past that. Well, I don't know. How long of history do you want? Do you want like the ABAG allocation time? I don't know. But in short, the housing element, we sent it in. They didn't approve it in 2023, so that opened us up to the builder's remedy. Now this was submitted in November, so City Council did approve the housing element in June of 2023. And staff had made the, staff originally for this project and for others had made the assertion that, hey, City Council approved our housing element, we have a certified housing element, but the state came in 2024, with a clarification of the law that basically said, no, you cannot self-certify your housing element. Your housing element must be, the date of your housing element being certified is the date that HCD certified the housing element. So basically, from when the housing element was due to when the housing element was certified by HCD, anyone who put in a preliminary application, SB 330 preliminary application, which was also in AB 1893 clarified by HCD in 2024, got to take advantage of the builder's remedy. So, I mean, in short, I mean, we're not the only city. I think very, very few cities, if almost everybody in the county, at least, including the county itself, was subject to the builder's remedy at some point, some for longer than others. But yeah, in short, you know, we didn't get our housing element certified by the state in time, and therefore we're subject to the penalty of builder's remedy.
That is really, that's clarifying. I appreciate that. And like you said, we are not the only ones who had this problem. So in total, do you have an understanding of how many builder's remedies projects should we expect in the coming year?
We have, yeah, I think we have 24 still active at this point. One has already been approved.
So the way that you basically get in under builder's remedy is an SB 330 application, right? So in total, we received 33 of those. Of those 33, 24 formally submitted. So a pretty decent amount. I think we had the most up until the county. Santa Clara County actually has more than us, if you can believe that. We've only approved one so far. That's on Alvin Avenue. And 3 have withdrawn. So 3 decided not to go forward. So right now we're sitting at 20 currently. This one included.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And to be clear, we're treating most of these as site development permits. So unless they get appealed without a CEQA, Planning Commission is not going to see them. There's a few that will require an EIR and with overriding considerations that will come before Planning Commission, but very few will be coming before Planning Commission. Most of them will be at Director's hearing.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just wanted to make sure we were completely transparent about what happened and why. It's a difficult process, we all know that, but I just want to make sure the public understands how we got here together. So my question is actually to you and maybe the developer. I think the developer said that phase 2 of the project would be the retail. I think that's, do you want to come and answer?
Again, Mason with the project consultant with the team. To clarify, the phase 2 was part of the Alviso Park renovation with the sports facilities.
Okay, yeah. So phase 2 doesn't include the commercial. The commercial is definitely going to happen because a lot of times, you know, we see ideas, concepts, plans, and they never get built.
So just to clarify, were you speaking about the commercial retail that was planned adjacent to Topgolf on the other side of your site?
Yeah. As the site designs showed, the intention is to build the commercial. The process, if the city attorney's office wanted to step in, is after today, the formal application for SB 35 will be submitted, to which then the city has a timeline to respond. And during that process, the developer will be working with city staff to process the application in compliance with all laws.
Now, so I'm not sure if I understand. So you spoke about a grocery store, a restaurant, a cafe. Is that the commercial we're referring to now, or is that additional commercial later?
Correct. That is in the current sketched
in the
out
sketches.
plan
That's
because
what
it's
we
not
saw.
a formal application yet. And so as it becomes a formal application, then it has to meet all the state requirements and site designs and conform with the city's entitlement program and fees, collection, everything.
Okay.
But the intention of the developer is to provide mixed use because, as you know, the housing is supported by the mixed use and attracts tenants. So it's in their financial interests to do that, right?
Okay. So let's say that plan gets approved. Is there any obligation to complete that plan as approved?
Well, it's a mixed-use building, so yeah, I mean, we would have to sign off on those building permits. Basically, if a project is entitled, we then go through the building permit process, and one of those processes is us, Jason and I, actually reviewing the building permits and making sure that it conforms with the planning entitlement. If they came back without retail, they'd have to probably re-entitle the project.
Okay, correct. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Next, we will go to Commissioner Rosario, followed by Commissioner Casey.
Thank you to everybody that came out. It's great to see the Alviso folks and community leaders. I know myself, I've given public comment before Richard Santos before, so it's great to see you here. Obviously, we aren't voting tonight, but after listening to the public comments, obviously we felt a lot of emotion, but I think it may help folks to understand how a project like this, if it is able to be stopped, how you could possibly do that, so maybe you could focus your attention or your arguments on how it could potentially be stopped, and if at all. Staff, can you, in your opinion, what are the different avenues of potentially stopping something like this, if at all possible?
Yeah, I mean, again, this is a builder's remedy project, so it's tough, right? I think, the Housing Accountability Act allows us to not approve a project if there is a specific adverse impact to the public health and safety. As I said during the presentation, if it does not meet the criteria for SB 35, they can revert back to a site development permit under builder's remedy as well. So, yeah, I think, the builder's remedy basically makes it so that the project can be denied by a jurisdiction if the jurisdiction can show that the project will cause a specific adverse impact to the public health and safety. I don't know if our attorney has anything to add.
Maybe just to jump in there too, that burden is on us, the city, to prove that it is a specific adverse impact to health and safety. It's not on the residents to do that. The city would have to make that finding to deny the project.
What would a specific adverse impact to the health and safety of the public be?
I can't say any of us here have made that finding yet for a housing project. I think it's a really difficult finding to make. Yeah, I know Daniel wants to say something.
Yeah, I mean, so I just want to kind of refer back to the law. Under the Housing Accountability Act, you have to make specific findings from actual standards that would be violated by the approval of this project. So this is under subdivision D5 of the Housing Accountability Act. And yeah, it's not necessarily an easy, it's just going to be public health and safety adverse impact. You have to actually make specific findings based on specific policies and standards. Not to say that it's impossible, but that's what we'd have to do.
Has the city already made a decision on whether or not, or a finding on whether or not a specific adverse impact exists, or?
No, so just to be abundantly clear here, just to repeat again, SB 423 requires this public hearing. SB 35 didn't used to require a hearing, but SB 423 introduces this hearing so that the public and the Planning Commission in this case can address this project. It's not an actual project yet. So they submit a notice of intent for a streamlined ministerial process. We have 45 days to hold this hearing, and then after that, they submit their application, right? So this isn't even a real application yet. So we're not even there yet, right? So in order for us to start thinking of what are the adverse impacts, we'd have to go receive the project, start reviewing the application, and look to any standards and policies that may cause an adverse impact to public health and safety.
And so at that point in time, the public could have comments that may assist in that finding?
I mean, the public can always write letters and emails and talk to their elected officials.
But we would need an application first.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the public can provide comments. I'll be the project manager if this comes in as an SB 35, so the public can provide comments to me at any time.
All right, we will go over to Commissioner Casey, followed by Commissioner Lardnois.
I had a question for staff about traffic. So a number of folks talked about the concern about the impact of traffic from the residences if it was converted to residences. And I know it's probably early, we haven't done traffic studies and things like that, but it has been approved for light industrial. So is there a ratio or some kind of guideline that the city uses for traffic impacts for residences versus if it was a light industrial in this location?
Thank you for the question, Commissioner. So under the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, projects that are subject to CEQA, the city has the transportation analysis policy, which is based on vehicle miles traveled and not on traffic congestion. This is in accordance with state law, SB 743. So because of this, it's, that would be the metric that would be evaluated at any sort of CEQA analysis would occur to be under vehicle miles traveled. And what that is the amount of the total distance, the average total distance of trips that would be generated by the project, not by the amount of congestion. This project, however, because it is, if it was to qualify for this ministerial process, it would not be subject to CEQA and would not be doing traffic analysis. So this would not be occurring under the ministerial process. And also, I just want to clarify, the prior approval with the Topgolf site was for a commercial development. So this area was approved for a certain amount of retail uses that were going to be fronting on North First Street, and there was an initial study and mitigating native declaration prepared and approved for that project. That did evaluate traffic, but that did evaluate it based on the old metric, which is based on level of service. And that was the level of service metric was retired back in 2018 when the city updated its new policy to go switch to vehicle miles traveled.
And I just have something to add to that too. So SB 423, SB 35 does not preclude the Department of Public Works or the Department of Transportation from requiring public improvements. It just limits what we can review, basically.
Thank you.
I believe I was next. First off, I want to say thank you to the members of the public for coming out to speak tonight. As our attorney noted, that's the whole point of this process, so that we can have an opportunity to hear from the public. Even though the project is going to be submitted under ministerial approval, it's still important to hear your perspectives. I also want to just congratulate our new colleague, Commissioner Casey. That was a really great question for your first meeting. So I have a couple questions. First, as the applicant noted, this project would be required to pay $3 million in park fees, and also noted that there's the nearby Alviso Park plan, which I believe he said was $15 million, or has a $15 million budget. But I want to clarify, those park fees won't be earmarked for specifically that one nearby park, right?
So typically throughout the process, the applicant would work with
the Parks Department. There's obviously a mix of solutions as we look at the requirements under the both of the parks ordinances. It often looks to some amount of credit that's provided for facilities on site. There's a half-mile radius, so it could be that funds are directed towards the designated park in Alviso. That would have to be worked out through the process with parks.
Gotcha. Thank you. And then, it's probably a quick question for the applicant, but it just because it's come up a couple times, the commercial component of this project, it's been noted as the plan is to have a grocery store, restaurant, and a cafe. But my question is, are those aspirational tenants, or have agreements already been signed with tenants for those spaces?
Hi, yes. So we've spoken to a bunch of folks on the cafe and the grocery store. We would need entitlement to get full signatures, but there are a number of groups that have expressed interest and some national brands as well. So we have approached. Yes.
Gotcha. I'm glad to hear that there's those conversations been had, but just to clarify, are those agreements that are locked in pending entitlement, or is it just at this point there are tenants who have indicated they have interest to form an agreement if there's an entitlement?
It's more that based on needing entitlement. I mean, there has been interest, but yeah, entitlement's needed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying.
All right, next up we will go to Commissioner Bickford, followed by Commissioners Young and Barocio.
So I have several things to say. I am the planning commissioner for District 4, which covers Alviso. I have been involved in the South Bay Yacht Club in Alviso. I want to make very clear and put on the record. The first one is the zoning, because that side of North First Street is CIC. It is not residential. And I understand SB 35 and I understand what could happen, but that was never the intention for that space. And I think that's important for people to understand. The second thing is the density here. I have a fundamental sort of visceral reaction to the height and the density, because that's a 3-acre plot of land and stacked 7 stories high, and 8 buildings in 3 acres. That's just, it's a lot. And if you drive around Alviso, that's not what you see. You see max 2 stories. I think there's a couple of 3s. They're single-family homes. They're not high density. It's just culturally that could create some issues. The CEQA waiver is very concerning to me because Alviso is an environmental wonderland of marshland and a waterway and a wealth of environmental opportunity. There is great boating, obviously. The traffic issue, I think, should not be understated. I know we talked with the project folks about parking, because 780 units with 200 parking spaces is going to overflow parking onto First Street and the surrounding community. And I think that is a public potential safety hazard, especially right across the street from an elementary school and a public library. And I think that should be grounds for the city to go and look at the safety and the health hazard issue. And the last thing that I have a question about, this is for the city attorney, is about the purpose of this hearing. Because what I kind of heard is it doesn't really matter what the community says or what issues are brought up. If the city is unwilling or unable to go and look for a health or safety hazard, the community can try to send a letter to their city councilman, David Cohen, in case you guys don't know who that is. But what else happens from everything that we heard here? I kind of felt like it was a lot of nothing.
Yeah, you can thank the state legislature for that. These are all imposed state laws on the city. So our hands are tied in a lot of ways, including how we can make findings for denial, right? So I mentioned before, you have these very specific findings that are adverse to public health and safety. Those need to be made. We cannot just draw them out of thin air, right? So yeah, they have to be specific, they have to be quantifiable. Yeah, you're right. I mean, if staff is unable or unwilling to make those findings, I mean, I don't know how we would quantify their unwillingness. I mean, I think this staff has the best interest of the city at heart.
And please don't take that as disrespect. I know that you all have the best interest of the city, as does everybody here. And I want the people of Alviso to know that this is a hard one for all of us, because San Jose needs housing. And that is unequivocally true to support all of the people who want to live here and can't afford it, and all of the people who are living 3-4 age groups deep in a very small house because they can't afford anything else. That I'm viscerally torn about this because we need the housing. I just have a really hard time with we need it in this place in this way.
And I absolutely agree. And that's the quandary that we're in as a city when we're faced with penalties like the builder's remedy. And just to reiterate, the builder's remedy as a penalty, there is so much that went into the city's development of the housing element. And for those of you who don't know what housing element is, it's every 8 years, every single jurisdiction in the state of California has to come up with a blueprint of how they're going to build enough housing to accommodate the specific number that the Council of Governments comes together and they said, hey, the City of San Jose, 62,000 units is something that you have to plan for in the next 8 years. We submitted a draft in the fall of 2022. The state takes 3 months to review that draft, comes back with some comments. It's a very long process. We approved this in June of 2023. We all remember this. We fought very hard against the builder's remedy, and including some of our arguments that we made their way into the legislation that paved the way for projects to come through builder's remedy. So it took away a lot of our arguments against that penalty. So here we are. This is what the state wants, right, is this type of density. So we are trying to figure out what is the builder's remedy? How does that fit into our city? How, what does this project mean for Alviso? It's a very difficult situation. There's no roadmap for it. And so we're all kind of up here to discuss that. And I hope that's not lost on everybody, that this is meaningful. This is something that the city council is listening, staff is listening, public's listening. It is meaningful to have this, and that's what, before SB 35 didn't provide this hearing. So I think this is a very important hearing to have.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that, because I do agree that we were all part of the housing element, and we understand how difficult it has been for the city and how much work has gone into it. I just want to say one other thing to the developers. This is a creative project. I like how it at least brings something to the community that they don't have, which is a larger grocery and potentially a coffee shop and a few other things. Those are things Alviso needs. And I would like to find a way to bring that to our local community. I still think we have some problems with the density here. And you know that. I said it to you in person. Thank you.
Thank you. We will go over to Commissioner Young, followed by Commissioners Borosio, Lardnois, and Vice Chair Cantrell.
Thank you, Chair. I'd also like to thank all the members of the community that came out to speak, and want you to definitely know that we heard you and heard your concerns and understand them. But I want to try and give you a little bit of context. You are not alone as residents of a community of San Jose that does not want your community to change. That's happening all over the city. I live out in southwest San Jose in an area called Cambrian Park. We are close to 100% single family homes, and nobody that lives out there wants it to change, but it's changing. We have several high density affordable housing projects going in out there. Actually, they're not even going in under this process. they don't even come to the planning commission or the council. They just, the council member can ask for a meeting, which they usually do. But my point is that probably every commissioner here has a community in their district or more than one community that doesn't want more higher, denser housing. The challenge we have in the city of San Jose is 80 to 90% of the city is zoned for single family houses. So that's the reason why the state of California has passed the laws that they have, because historically projects like this have gone before a planning commission or a city council who listens to all of you, who says you don't want it, and then the project's not built. And the problem is we have not built enough housing in California. We're in a housing crisis. The folks like letter carriers and people that work at grocery stores and teachers can't afford to live here. You know, we have school teachers that are living in Stockton or Modesto, right? That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing for our community. It's not a good thing for our kids. So I just want to give you some perspective that the reason we are where we are and the reason that the state has put these processes in place is because it's the only way that this type of housing is going to get built. But I do want you to understand, you're not alone. You are not the only community in San Jose that does not want to change. There's many, many, many communities throughout the city that are grappling with this, and it's hard. It's really hard. Our city's changing. Our city's growing. California population is growing. It's a big challenge, and the city is going to change, and it's going to change one way or the other. So our job up here and the council members, with input from you, is try to do that the best we can. But the entire city is going to have to share in this challenge. So again, thank you to the folks from Alviso that are here, but please don't feel you're alone, because there's lots of other residents in the city that are facing this same challenge and the same change. Thanks.
Thank you. Over to Commissioner Brosio.
Perfect, thank you. Good evening, everyone. I too am inspired by the Alviso residents. Thank you for coming out. What I saw was multi-generational people who have served their city for years, and a very passionate group of folks that have come out. I think I'm more informed about SB 35, SB 423. I wasn't expecting that level of I wouldn't call it red tape. It's just I don't know what the right word would be, but it does tie our hands to weigh in and to make some changes that are more locally sensitive. A couple of things. I have a couple questions. So it sounds like after today, the application will be put in, will be submitted, and there's these 45 days, and a lot will happen behind the scenes internally with the review of the project. When will this resurface? And I say this just for the folks that care about this project very deeply, just so they have an understanding of when else will this resurface into the public eye, into a forum where they can see this talked about openly. And this question is for staff.
Yeah, so they won't be able to immediately apply because we have to go through the tribal consultation process. 3 tribes have requested consultation. We have not consulted with anyone yet because they have requested their consultation. Well, staff has also requested the consultation to be after this meeting. In terms of after they are invited to apply, the whole purpose of SB 35, SB 423, a ministerial ordinance is that, the project comes into the city, staff reviews it, staff sends comments back to the applicant addresses the comments, and it does not go to a public hearing again. Part of why the state legislature added this SB 423 requirement is part of what Commissioner Young was saying, where we had multiple SB 35, many SB 35 projects, just go through the process. One day a sign goes up, one day it's approved, one day it starts being constructed. And maybe the city council member asked for a meeting with residents, and maybe they didn't, and it just shows up. So in terms of process and the required process for the city through the state, this is the only opportunity to comment. Everything else, the only required opportunity to comment, I should say, if the applicant is amenable to additional meetings, or the council member requests additional meetings, they can hold them, but there is no requirement to do that. And in fact, we're not allowed to ask for formal meetings. I mean, it would have to be an informal meeting. So yeah, the purpose of this ministerial process through the state is to, frankly, cut out public comment, to streamline everything so that it's black and white. If you meet these objective standards, you are approved, period. Without input from commissioners, from council, from the public. That is the purpose of what the state legislature has done. And that's not, endorsing or not endorsing it, but that is the intention of the state, and that is the impact of the state laws that have been passed throughout the years. So that's a very roundabout way of saying, the framework that we have to work in here is that once they come in, there is no required public comment, whether from council, from commissioners, from the public. If you meet the criteria, you are approved. If you do not meet the criteria, you have the opportunity to go back and make yourself meet the criteria. If you can't meet the criteria, then you won't be approved. So that's what the process is under state law.
I understand. And I imagine that comes with some rationale, right? Obviously, very smart people put this policy together, very smart people voted for it, very smart people voted against it at the SB, so I imagine at the Senate floor. So this happens across California, I imagine. Every month, every week, this is happening in some municipality from San Isidro to, like Eureka, right? Like all the way to the Oregon border. So since it's an SB bill, a Senate bill, and I imagine first it was 35, now it's 23, whatever the next one will be, perhaps a visit to this district's Senate office is in order. I know you mentioned that Cohen is a city council member there, but who is the senator of Alviso? Yes.
The state senator.
Is it Cortese? I don't know if his reach. Right. Okay. So perhaps that's the next step, right? Because it looks like it's a law. And in order for, well, I don't know if it's a law, but it's something that is in the law, in a policy. And in the next SB whatever, right, that will take this beyond 2036, I think CEQA needs to be included. I think this whole we don't even need to look at the CEQA is absurd, right, to borrow a language from a community member. I think we have to look at the environmental impact that some of these projects have and the neighborhoods that they sit in. And I think Alviso is a perfect location. And I work right by Levi Stadium, and I make monthly visits to George Main, so I exactly know who you're talking about, the school you went to. the library, and that whole area. So that would be my recommendation, is for the folks who were on the master plan committee, the president of the local community like center, established community members, folks who moved in because of the great things that they hear about Alviso. I think that would be my recommendation. And what I heard was an investment in the parks, right? So now I have a different question. There is a city library there, and I know it's not a built-out full, Martin Luther King style library, but there is a library service there. Is there any benefit that the developer plans, or is there some sort of obligation to invest in that library that sits right across the street from this project?
So for residential projects, the only obligation would be parkland, either in the form of dedication of park space or paying a fee. They would not be on the hook for, funding any improvements or any new public facilities other than parks, and also public roadways.
Okay. So it's one of those ripple effects, right? With the doubling of units in this part of North San Jose, Alviso, I think that's something hopefully that there could be some interdepartmental work around how do we build out our infrastructure, right? In order to meet the needs of the developing community, right? Of the growing community. And my other question here is, so like what I heard is that there needs to be a specific adverse impact on public health and safety. So is that only for the people that the project is planned for? It would have to impact them? It would have to impact people 3 blocks away? Like, what is the radius of this adverse impact on public health and safety?
So I'll read you the exact sentence. So as used in this paragraph, again, this is subdivision D5 from the Housing Accountability Act. As used in this paragraph, a specific adverse impact means a significant, quantifiable, direct, and unavoidable impact based on objective, identified, written public health or safety standards, policies, or conditions as they existed on the date the application was deemed complete.
Okay, so the public within a mile, the public just across the street, the public in the whole city, like how far, or how should we interpret the public?
It's an open-ended question, right? So what are we talking about, right? Let's think of what is an adverse impact?
So,
and what is the standard that it's violating, right? So do we have objective, quantifiable, direct, unavoidable impacts? And then what is the health and safety standard or policy or condition that it's running afoul of, right? So that hasn't been looked at, hasn't been studied, and we're not here today to discuss all of that because we don't even have a project application yet. So that is the standard. That's what we have to look at.
Right. But how will staff be directed in terms of their due diligence in finding which, like the due diligence around what is considered public, right? Is it people north of the 237? Is it just the people within 3 blocks of this project? Because I imagine that when the project is reviewed, yes, we don't know, but I imagine that the staff will be looking at the impact, but could we know the radius of their study?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
is it
I
going
think
to be
you're concentrating on the word public, but we're really talking about public health standards, right? So let's take fire, for example. If there was a building constructed in such a manner as to cause public health or safety issues if there were a fire, which may be preventing a fire engine from properly accessing that unit. That is a public health and safety violation or an adverse impact to public health and safety. We would then look to the fire code to find out which standards being violated. That's an example of what we're talking about here. So you look at the particular project to see if there's anything that is going to create this adverse impact to public health and safety, not necessarily the public at large in the entire city, right? But just focused on what is it about this development that's going to cause that impact.
Right, right. Well, I mean, I just bring it up because I think Alviso is a very unique community, and how this project impacts traffic, how it impacts the wildlife, how it impacts the quality of life, how it impacts people that have to escape that area, because I know that it was under a tsunami watch, and I know George Main had to evacuate, and I know everyone there, I mean, we all got the alert. So in terms of putting this right where it bottlenecks in terms of an escape route for 90% of the, well, I mean, not 90, but maybe the remaining 60% of the community that is spread out among acres and acres and acres, where 40% of the population of Alviso would just be on 3, but right on the route to leave that area in case the flood water was ever, or water from the bay is ever to come on very quickly. I mean, to me, like, the safety of the furthest neighbor has a connection to this project, right? So I know it's going to be under project review, but I just put that out there just because I think we have to take a step back and see how we can have a rich and broad conversation under the current law or the way it's written, just to say that I don't think it ends here, but I think it does offer an opportunity for us to be, for us to be more engaged and ask deeper questions. Thank you.
I also don't want to put an unfair burden on staff to say, if you cannot find a public health or safety standard which this violates, then it's your fault and therefore you've allowed this to go forward, right? It's not that simple. So I don't want this to turn into a conversation that you go better find that public health and safety violation, or it's your fault that this is going to go up. That's not what we should be talking about here.
That was not my intention. I know our role here is to be, not to advise staff, but I put that out there under the director or whoever would be guiding staff in terms of projects like this, right? Like, how are we to interpret these vague, what's it called? These subdivision D5 type of languages, right? Legalese, right? Like, how are we to implement? How far should our analysis goes? All I do is advise for us to make sure that we're thoughtful, which I know you are, but I just put that out there not as, like a mandate, but just something to consider in the analysis, because I think the intersections and the nexus of different safety concerns and public health, like who's the public, what kind of safety concerns can arise from this. I think, again, it's not something on Santa Clara and First Street. This is something in a very diverse part of our city. So that's it. I know staff, you work hard on this. It's not to say it's going to be your fault or it's your fault. I think we heard loud and clear where this Senate bill comes from. And, I opened up the floor for folks to consider talking to their local Senate person to possibly consider a revision and use this as a case study, right? Like, hey, like, this is what happens when certain language goes before you in Sacramento. This is how it trickles down, and this is how it impacts us here. And that's all I do, right? Like, that's all I want to do is be an advocate for the public who've come out and just ask for a thoughtful consideration when it comes to, and a holistic consideration when it comes under project review. Thank you.
Thank you. Over to Commissioner Lardinois.
Thank you, Chair. So two things I want to talk about, because we've talked about the housing element and the builder's remedy and how we got into that situation. And I just want to, go back to my comments at that time, because yes, the city did submit the housing element a few months before the deadline, but also there were back and forth revisions, and the city ended up getting approved on the third draft. So just like I said back then, I want to encourage the city to be mindful that this is a challenging process and there often needs to be back and forth with the state, and to ensure that the first submittal is done early. I believe the next housing element cycle is 2030, is that correct?
It's due January 2031.
Right, exactly. So I just want to, once again, bring up that as something to be mindful of as we approach that next process. And then the other thing I want to talk about is we've had a lot of discussion about, how state law impacts this project, and Commissioner Young touched on some of the things I want to say, but I want to elaborate on his comments. I'm going to sound like Commissioner Oliverio here, but the reason we primarily do land use through local government, through local control, is because local governments are the closest to the people, they're close to their communities, and they're best equipped to understand their communities and the unique needs and challenges that they're facing. I think in this particular case, that's why the city has zoned this parcel differently than this applicant is proposing to be used for. But at the same time, 4 decades, longer than I've been alive, local governments in California have failed to permit enough housing to meet the demand. And that's why we are in the housing crisis we're in. That's why it is so expensive to live in every part of California. And that's why, frankly, California is bleeding residents and is on track to lose, I believe, 4 electoral votes in the next census. So what I'm getting at is that, many cities, not necessarily San Jose, but cities like Huntington Beach, like South Pasadena, like Cupertino, like Palo Alto, like San Francisco, have for many decades failed to provide enough housing to meet demand in their communities. And that's why the state has felt the need to step in with legislation like SB 35, like SB 423, and to provide a process for housing to get built when cities are not stepping up and allowing that to happen in their communities. And I hear a lot of the concerns and criticism about this project, and like I said, or like we've noted, it's against the zoning code that is designated for this parcel, and also we don't have the opportunity to consider a lot of these concerns in the process, and I don't want that to be directed towards anger at the state for creating this legislation in the first place. I want to say that's a casualty of what I've been saying for decades. California as a whole has failed to meet our housing needs, and that unfortunately puts us in situations like we're in tonight. So I just want to say to all of my colleagues on the Planning Commission, especially my new colleagues as you join us here tonight, keep that in mind, and because a lot of these state laws, they have sunset dates. They're intended to be temporary measures to meet the current crisis. And if communities across the state do meet the crisis, if we do get into a point where we're no longer in a housing crisis, then we can return back to full local control. If not, the state is going to extend these pieces of legislation. So keep that in mind, and as things come through our our subjective process, as they come through where they, we do have input and we're making decisions on whether to approve projects, keep in mind the needs that we're trying to meet. And I'm hoping that we can continue to work to address our housing crisis and get to a point where it really is up to the city on every project. But right now, that's a long ways away. I think that concludes my comments for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Over to Vice Chair Cantrell.
If you've come to these meetings before, you'll know I always say, this is why we're here when the community shows up. when community actually responds to what's happening. I think the most important asset of this country is an educated voting populace. And that's what makes the difference. That's what makes good law. I think we have to realize that Aviso is a very special community. It's very different. And yes, some of the character of Aviso will be changed with any amount of change that happens there, for certain, because it is so unique. I think we also need to understand, as some of the other commissioners have said tonight, there are two sides to this coin. There's one side of how we got here, and it's been more than 4 generations. This single family, the single home zoning is problematic, period. It's been in existence for far too long. And its root is to divide communities away from undesirables, people who might live in what we call gentle density 4-family flats, who were not welcome in communities that were bedroom communities and single families. So we built this. We built this over our entire history. And now we are forced to recognize and deal with its outcomes. If as an entire community we don't face this change together, you will never live next to your children or your children's children. It's just a simple fact. We have to start making change. But the other side of the coin is that no one should be a victim of development. That is not a desirable outcome. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. If we all work together, developers, political leaders, community members and leaders, to actually work on a continuum of yes, our first answer should be yes, but, not no, because no is what got us here. There is still an opportunity for any developer to try to embrace the community that they want to exist in, because it is a partnership. And I can tell you what it's like to live next to a bad neighbor, a neighbor that hates you. It is never good. So even if you can, I suggest that you don't. I suggest that you engage the community and try to find somewhere on a continuum of yes, a place that you can coexist. I encourage that strongly. But everyone, together we have to face that we cannot exist together in a community of single-family homes any longer. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. I had a couple thoughts as we wrap this up. First, just a request, gentle request to the project applicant. We obviously had multiple representatives from the building trades here today, our plumbers and pipe fitters and the carpenters. I would just encourage you guys to keep the lines of communication open there, see if we can find a path towards building this project with local skilled and trained labor. I think has the opportunity to further increase the community benefit of this project. Second, I do think that this is a very interesting project. You know, we're looking at a type of housing that we don't often see come before the commission, you know, a middle income project that is not reliant on any public subsidy. I think that if this is borne out and this project is built, that is a promising model moving forward. You know, we talked a lot about the housing element tonight, and as part of the housing element when this came before the commission a couple years back, we looked at the amount of public subsidy that would be required to meet all of our below market rate housing projected need in San Jose, and it was billions of dollars, much more than we actually have available. So if we can find ways to build deed-restricted, affordable workforce housing without public subsidy, I think that's a win for our community, that's a win for the city's finances. That said, I hear the concerns from all of the neighbors who've come out and spoken tonight about the ways that this might change the neighborhood. You know, we've heard the sentiment anywhere but here, concerns about changes to the character of Alviso. As some of my other commissioners have said, those are not concerns that are unique to your neighborhood, unfortunately. As staff said, there are 20 active builders remedy projects, so this question of local control is something that's playing out all across the city, all across the county. But I do appreciate, the comments from Commissioner Young, from Commissioner Lardenois, from Vice Chair Cantrell about how we got to this place and the motivation behind these laws. And it really is to enable housing that might otherwise not get built. Across the 9-county Bay Area, we have a shortage of about 700,000 homes. So the status quo has not been working to build the housing that we need in our community, and there are real consequences to that, as everyone here has already spoken to. That said, I would encourage the project applicant to continue the discussions and continue engaging with the community here, work with Councilmember Cohen and the District 4 office to try to find ways to meet some of the concerns that have been raised by residents here. Look at things like transportation demand management to minimize concerns around parking from this project. Look at ways as much as possible to make this a win-win for the community. And with that, I don't see any additional hands. So if there's no further discussion, I think that will conclude our public hearing tonight. So with that, next we will move to referrals from City Council, boards, commissions, or other agencies. Staff, do we have any referrals?
We have no referrals this evening.
Okay, in that case, we will move on to good and welfare. Do we have a report from City Council?
We do, just to sort of circle back on a number of projects that we brought to City Council earlier in June that the Planning Commission had seen. So there was the ordinance change that made it was on consent, I believe, when the Planning Commission saw it, that made some changes to the TDM requirements for conversions of office buildings in the downtown to residential, and that was approved by City Council. We had the 2 early consideration projects that went before the Planning Commission back in May. So the Kettman project, if you'll recall, again, that was a privately initiated general plan amendment for 13 single-family homes. So City Council approved staff's recommendation to deny that project at that time. Also the 17-story Winchester project. So this was a sizable project that we saw out in West San Jose. Again, City Council approved staff's recommendation and rejected that project. There was additional direction to staff to include that site in part of the consideration as we look for more housing in the 4-year review that's coming up. The last project was the planned development zoning on Evergreen Village Square, which was approved on consent last week, I believe.
Thank you. Do we have anything on subcommittee formation, reports, and outstanding business?
We do not.
Okay, in that case, we will move on to the election of chair and vice chair for fiscal year 2025-2026. So this is obviously the election for whoever will sit in this seat and help to administer our meetings. I just want to start by saying it has been an immense privilege to be able to fill this role over the past year, and looking forward to the discussion tonight about who will take over here and for Vice Chair Cantrell. So with that, I will open the floor to any nominations that we might have. Commissioner Lardenois.
Sure. Thank you, Chair. Thanks to the voters of District 3, we're about to lose the best chair we've ever had on this commission. I've just been really impressed with how you've led us this past year, Commissioner Tordios. I was really excited to hand the reins over to you, and I just, you stepped into the role so effortlessly, and you've really, been great for helping guide us through the process, helping acclimate the public. You couldn't have done a better job, and so thank you for that. Thinking about filling those shoes, that's a challenge. Also, as I'm going to be stepping away, thinking about, leaving this in good hands. And, I think about particularly one member of this commission who, the whole time he's been here has been engaged, informed, always challenging applicants and staff, asking the right questions, and, has the respect of everybody on this dais. I'd like to nominate Commissioner Rosario to be the next chair of the San Jose Planning Commission.
Second.
Do you accept?
Yes, yes, thank you, Commissioner Lardenois.
Amazing. We will continue to take nominations and then give everyone an opportunity to say any comments before we move on to a vote. Next up, we have Commissioner Brosio.
Thank you. Just a quick question. I missed the first couple of minutes of our meeting. Who's eligible? Who's not coming back? Just for clarity.
So this will be my last meeting. And then I don't think it's his last, but I don't think Commissioner Tordias will be with us too much longer. So.
Oh, just two. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. I would like to recommend or put forth for chair a person that has been committed to the process, the integrity of the role, has really served the city as a whole by looking at every district with its unique lens, while at the same time looking at it in terms of how it fits with the bigger picture. And for chair, I recommend Vice Chair Cantrell. And for Vice Chair, is it okay if I do both? Or
We'll do Vice Chair second.
Got it. Okay. So I have someone in mind for that. But yes.
Second.
Mr. Cantrell.
Vice Chair, do you accept?
I'm not given to pause very often. But I think this is my upbringing. My mom is, though she's passed, is still a voice in my head, and she says to me in this moment, there's somebody who might be more deserving than you. I respect the nomination for certain, because I do work hard from this dais, and it is important to me. And I really do consider what I do here as advocacy for the people. And I always say all my power belongs to the people, nothing else. But that doesn't change that dynamic. All of my power will still belong to the people. But I do believe that Commissioner Rosario is an exceptional person who I think will lead with integrity and consistency. And I'm happy to serve on this commission with him as well. So with that, I respectfully decline. Thank you. And I actually will third the nomination of Rosario.
Thank you. And let me just say that I think the humility is very special. So thank you. Do we have any additional nominations? Or anyone who would like to self-nominate? That is always an option. All right. If not, we will move on to Commissioner Brosio.
I did this the first time a couple years ago. I said, well, you know, it's good for democracy to have two, right? So but I'll move up my vice chair person that I have in mind. And thank you, Mr. Commissioner Cantrell, for those words. I think your presence will still be here, right? So we really appreciate your voice. But I would like to nominate another person who also sees things from different angles, turns on the mic to say very thoughtful things, is very respectful of staff, very respectful of the audience, very respectful of everyone's time. And you can tell, because of what I can see from my angle, that she takes very diligent notes. I would like to nominate Commissioner Bickford.
Do you accept Commissioner Bickford?
Thank you. No. I feel that I haven't been here quite long enough to fill those shoes, and that there are more qualified people than I. I would love to entertain it as a possibility in the future, but I think right now my learning is still happening in everything that we need to do as an organization.
Actually, on that note, just for the sake of having an actual vote, I will remain. I will not be harmed if I am not selected, just to be clear.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so we now do have two candidates with Commissioners Rosario and Vice Chair Cantrell. Do we have any additional nominations before we move to a vote? All right, doesn't seem like it. So we will go down the line, just choose between these two eminently qualified candidates. First up, we have Vice Chair Cantrell. Yes. Okay, so for Commissioner Rosario?
I'm voting for Rosario.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Brosio.
So I will honor the person I recommended and piggyback off of who he recommends, which I also think will be a fine chair, Mr. Rosario.
Thank you. Commissioner Bendal.
Commissioner Rosario.
Commissioner Bickford.
Commissioner Rosario. Thank you.
Commissioner Casey.
Commissioner Rosario.
Commissioner Lardnois.
Rosario.
Commissioner Wynn.
Commissioner Rosario.
Thank you. Commissioner Oliverio is absent. Commissioner Rosario.
Rosario.
Commissioner Young.
Commissioner Rosario.
Myself, I will also vote for Commissioner Rosario, so it is unanimous. So congratulations to our newly elected chair, Commissioner Rosario. Amazing. So we will now open up nominations for vice chair. Commissioner Brosio.
Okay. All right. Yes. Well, you heard my speech about my neighbor here, not only on the up here, but also District 5, District 4. Great work. I hear the best way to absorb everything is in the position of vice, because you're paying attention. It might be your turn if he's not here, so you're paying extra attention. Not that you need any more influence to really pay attention, but I would like to nominate Commissioner Bickford for vice chair.
Second.
Second.
I would accept that. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other nominations? All right, in that case, we can proceed with a vote. This one should be easy. Vice Chair Cantrell. And this can just be yes, no.
Yes, yes.
Commissioner Brosio.
Yes.
Commissioner Bendal.
Yes.
Commissioner Bickford.
Yes.
Commissioner Casey.
Yes.
Commissioner Lardnois.
Yes.
Commissioner Wynn.
Yes.
Commissioner Oliverio is absent. Commissioner Rosario.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Myself, yes. So we have a new vice chair as well, also unanimous. Congratulations. Amazing. With that, we will now move on to commission calendar and study sessions. Do we have anything on that, staff?
We do not yet, but obviously as we move into the new fiscal year and kind of look towards the 4-year review process, we will be coming back in relatively short order to sort of talk about how we're going to approach that and how we're going to kick that off. I did book a study session with the City Council in September. So we're looking at how that's going to interact with the Planning Commission and how we're going to use that as a launching pad to help get everybody up to speed.
Amazing, thank you. And as Commissioner Lardnois unfortunately shared earlier, this will be his last meeting with us on this commission, so we do have a recognition to present him. Let me go ahead and read this. Be it resolved by the Planning Department of the City of San Jose, whereas Mr. Justin Lardnois has served as a member of the Planning Commission from July 1st, 2020 until July 30th, 2025, and as chairperson from July 13th, 2023 until June 30th, 2024, and whereas Mr. Justin Lardnois, Planning Commissioner of the City of San Jose, has given of himself with devotion, honor, dignity, and integrity, and whereas Mr. Justin Lardnois has served with an interest in land use planning and an understanding and respect for all citizens of San Jose of diverse opinions and backgrounds, And whereas Mr. Justin Lardenois will be remembered as a hardworking and sincere member of the Planning Commission of the City of San Jose, now therefore, the Department of Planning, Building, and Code Enforcement recognizes the commitment and contribution that has been made on behalf of the San Jose community, and the City of San Jose Planning Commission unanimously approves this resolution of commendation.
Oh. It's a photo op.
Sure. How do you want to?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, in front of the flag is always.
Yeah, sure.
Very nice. I will send it to both of you.
Okay, thank you. Do you have anything you want to say? Sure, yeah. We will now turn it over to Commissioner Lardenois to say a few words.
Thank you. So yeah, this is a very nice certificate. Thank you very much. So I've been on this commission for the past 5 years. It's really been an honor to have this opportunity to serve the city. I did not have the time to actually go through and count how many units of housing and how many square feet of commercial space we voted to approve on this commission, but in that time it's been a lot. It's been great to help guide the city's growth, to participate in those processes, to participate in multiple urban village plans, to be a part of making San Jose the largest city in the country to abolish parking minimums, to vote to protect mobile home parks as a source of housing for some of our most vulnerable residents in the city, and to be a part of all this process through the pandemic. To our new commissioners, Casey and Nguyen, both of you, thank you for stepping up to serve your communities and to serve this city. I'm really sad that I won't get to know you better and get the opportunity to serve with you, but I'm glad you're here. And also I want to say I'm really glad that the Planning Commission is going to get the opportunity to participate in the General Plan Task, or to be the General Plan Task Force for the next cycle. Also, sad that I won't get to participate in that, but I think all of you are really up to the task. And I think you'll do a great job with that. I just want to say some parting words, particularly for our new colleagues, but for everybody about how you continue to approach this role as time goes on. First off, I want to, remind everyone who's not at these meetings, people who don't have the time to keep with city government or to attend the meetings, particularly since since public comment is only accepted in person. And then also, we're talking about building housing in particular. The residents who are not yet residents of San Jose are not having a voice in that process for the most part. And so keep that in mind when you're considering projects. I also want to, talk about our role as appointed commissioners. There's two sides to it. One, you're appointed, you weren't elected by the people, and so that's something you have to keep in mind. You don't have a mandate to do this job in a particular way, and that should, give you pause and consider that, you don't have the same accountability that folks on city council do. But at the same time, that insulates you from political pressure, or at least some of the political pressures that our elected officials are subject to, and gives you the flexibility to speak out and be a voice in ways that sometimes they feel that they can't. When it comes to votes on this dais, most of them are easy, and thankful for that. We have a lot of unanimous votes, but there are ones that are hard, and you often have competing perspectives. You have what the applicant thinks is right, you have what the city as an institution thinks is right, you have what the public thinks is right, and you have what you think is right. And sometimes those are 4 different things. And so I just want to encourage you to always keep in mind the weight of your role and the power you do have, and just take each decision as it comes and really think about how you in the position you're in can guide towards the best outcome. And so it's been an honor to, serve with all of you here and past colleagues that I've had on this planning commission. And also I just want to say was really happy to see our former colleague, George Casey, move on to the city council. Also really happy to see our chair, Anthony Tordios, moving on to the city council and stepping up to serve the city in a new way. All of you have made a huge contribution, and it's been an honor to serve with you. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we will conclude the meeting with any comments or questions that folks have for the public record.
We'll miss you, Justin.
For public record and specifically to our council, I'd like to tell them they're getting someone special to join their ranks. They're getting someone who is uniquely brilliant, studied, and capable. They're getting someone who is an asset to all of our communities, even though he has to serve one district. And I hope that I know that they will welcome you with open arms and enjoy your intellect and your integrity as we have here. So very best of luck. And that was for Anthony Tordios. I didn't say those words. Thank you.
Yes, it will be a priority.
And share your notes with Rosario.
Sounds good. I don't see any additional hands at this. Oh, sorry, we have one more.
We'll miss you too, Anthony.
Thank you. Amazing. With that, we will adjourn at 9:04 p.m., but I would love to get a photo with all of our commissioners out front here with Justin. So thank you, everyone.